I was cleaning out my new wife's old phone. Found a folder she'd forgotten to delete. Inside were messages, very old messages. When I looked at the dates, my hand started shaking. These messages were sent back then, during my first wife Natalie's final months. I read through them, just a few lines. But one sentence caught my eye. When I saw that sentence, I dropped the phone. My name is Fletcher Garrison, 46 years old, structural engineer in Minneapolis. My first wife Natalie died of cancer 2 years ago. We'd been married for 18 years. A year later, I married Vanessa. I thought it was a fresh start. That night, I couldn't sleep. In the morning, I had to make a call. But first, I needed to check something. Records from Natalie's final 6 months. What I found changed everything. And the name in that message was the last name I ever expected to see. Natalie was diagnosed with stage 3 ovarian cancer in March 2021. She was 42 years old. We'd just celebrated our 16th wedding anniversary the month before. The oncologist was Dr. Ian Westbrook at Abbott Northwestern Hospital. He was direct but compassionate. Treatment would be aggressive, he said. Surgery, chemotherapy, radiation. The survival rate for stage 3 was around 40% at 5 years. Natalie looked at me when he said that number. 40%. I squeezed her hand. We'll beat this, I told her. She started treatment immediately. The first surgery went well. They removed what they could, and then came 6 months of chemotherapy. I watched my wife transform. Her hair fell out. She lost 30 pounds. The nausea was constant, but she never complained. Not once. She'd smile at me from the couch wrapped in blankets and say, "I'm still here." My best friend Colin Brandt was there through everything. Colin and I had been friends since college, 22 years. He was like a brother, closer than my actual brother who lived in Seattle and barely called. Colin came by 3 times a week. He'd bring groceries, sit with Natalie when I had to work, make her laugh when she felt too sick to move. "He's a good man," Natalie would say. "We're lucky to have him." I agreed. In September 2021, 6 months into treatment, Dr. Westbrook called me into his office alone. The cancer had spread, he said. Stage 4. Metastasized to her liver and lungs. "How long?" I asked. He hesitated. 6 months, maybe less. "With palliative care, we can keep her comfortable." I didn't tell Natalie the truth right away. I couldn't, but she knew. She could see it in my face. "It's okay," she said that night in bed. "I'm not afraid. I'm just sad I won't see you grow old." We cried together, the only time I saw her break down. Colin was there the next day. He held me while I sobbed in the kitchen. "Natalie's in the bedroom," I told him. "She doesn't want anyone to see her cry. I'll check on her," he said. He spent an hour in there with her. When he came out, his eyes were red. "She's the strongest person I've ever known," he said. The next months were a blur. Hospice came to the house. Nurses rotated shifts. I took leave from work. Colin visited every single day, sometimes twice. He'd bring food, help me change her sheets, sit with her while I showered. I don't know what I would have done without him. Natalie died on February 14th, 2022, Valentine's Day. She passed quietly in her sleep around 3 in the morning. I was holding her hand. Colin had been there until midnight. I called him at 6 a.m. He came immediately, helped me make the calls, helped me plan the funeral. At the service, Colin gave a eulogy. He talked about Natalie's kindness, her strength, her laugh. He broke down halfway through. I had to help him off the stage. Everyone said it was beautiful. The grief was crushing. I couldn't function, couldn't work, couldn't eat. Colin checked on me every day for months. Sometimes he'd just sit with me in silence. Other times, he'd force me to go for a walk or eat something. "You have to keep living," he'd say. That's what she'd want. By summer, I was starting to emerge, going back to work part-time, seeing friends again. Colin introduced me to Vanessa in August 2022. "She's a friend of my sister," he said. "I think you'd like her." I wasn't ready. Told him that. He understood, but give it a try, he said. "Just coffee, nothing serious." Vanessa was 38, worked in marketing, divorced with no kids. She was kind, easy to talk to. We started seeing each other casually. By December, we were serious. By March 2023, we were engaged. Colin was my best man. We got married in June 2023. Small ceremony. Close friends and family. I thought I was moving forward, building something new, honoring Natalie's memory by living fully. Then last Tuesday, November 5th, 2024, I found the messages. Vanessa had upgraded to a new phone. Her old iPhone was sitting in a drawer. She'd asked me to wipe it before we donated it. I was going through her apps, deleting accounts, clearing data. That's when I found a folder in her Messages app. It was labeled Work Archive. Inside were text threads with several contacts. Most were innocuous. Clients, co-workers, vendors. Then I saw a thread with a contact saved as C. The name alone meant nothing. But when I opened it, I recognized the number immediately. It was Colin's number. I'd been calling it for 22 years. The messages started in August 2021. Natalie had been diagnosed 5 months earlier. The first few messages were casual. Thanks for the introduction. Great to meet you. Looking forward to coffee. Then they became more frequent, more familiar. By October 2021, the tone had shifted. I miss you. Can't wait to see you Friday. He makes me feel alive. My stomach dropped. He makes me feel alive. That was about me. My wife was dying, and my best friend was sleeping with the woman I'd eventually marry. I kept scrolling. November 2021. How much longer do you think? The insurance is $850,000. I stared at that message for a long time. The insurance is $850,000. Natalie had a life insurance policy. I was the beneficiary. $850,000. I'd never thought much about it. It was just something we'd set up years ago when we bought the house. I kept reading. December 2021. Dr. Westbrook said 6 months at most. Then we can be together. Properly. Dr. Westbrook. Natalie's oncologist. What did he have to do with this? January 2022. One message from Colin to Vanessa. It's done. Westbrook switched the meds last week. 2 weeks faster than expected. It's done. Switch the meds. I felt like I was going to be sick. February 14th, 2022. The day Natalie died. Message from Vanessa to Colin. I'm so sorry for your loss. See you tonight. I dropped the phone, stood up, walked to the bathroom, threw up. They killed her. Colin and Vanessa killed my wife for insurance money with help from her oncologist. I washed my face, looked at myself in the mirror. My hands were shaking. I needed to think, needed to be sure, needed evidence that would hold up. Vanessa was at work. She wouldn't be home until 6. I had 4 hours. I went back to the phone, screenshot every message, sent them to my personal email. Then I started digging. I pulled up Natalie's medical records. I had access through the patient portal. Her treatment history was all there. Chemotherapy regimens, medication schedules, dosage changes. In January 2022, 1 month before she died, there was a medication change. Her pain management protocol was altered. The new prescription was for a drug called fentanyl at a dosage of 200 micrograms every 4 hours. The previous drug had been morphine at a standard palliative dose. I looked up fentanyl dosing for cancer patients. 200 micrograms every 4 hours was high, very high, especially for someone Natalie's size. At that dose, respiratory depression was almost guaranteed, especially combined with her other medications. They'd overdosed her, slowly, over the course of a month, made it look like natural decline. I called Abbott Northwestern Hospital, asked to speak with someone in medical records. I'm Fletcher Garrison, I said. My wife, Natalie Garrison, was a patient of Dr. Ian Westbrook. She passed away in February 2022. I need to request copies of her complete medical file. For legal purposes. They said it would take 5 to 7 business days. I said that was fine. Then I called my attorney, James Chen. He'd handled our wills and estate planning. James, I need to see you today. It's urgent. He heard something in my voice. Came in at 4 o'clock. I showed him everything. The messages, the medical records, the medication change, the timeline. He sat back in his chair. Fletcher, if what you're suggesting is true, this is murder. I know. What do you want to do? I want to make sure I'm right first. Then I want them prosecuted. All 3 of them. James made notes. We'll need more than text messages and a medication change. We need proof that Westbrook acted improperly. Proof that the medication dosage was intentionally harmful. Can you get that? I'll try. James looked at me carefully. Where's Vanessa now? At work. She doesn't know I found any of this. Good. Keep it that way. Don't confront her. Don't confront Colin. Don't do anything until we have a solid case. If they realize you know, they'll destroy evidence. I understand. James, one more thing. What? The life insurance money. $850,000. I haven't touched it. It's been sitting in an account for 2 years. I couldn't bring myself to use it. James nodded. Slowly. That might have saved your life. What do you mean? If you'd spent it, they might have tried again. Tried to get it back somehow. Or worse, I hadn't thought of that. I went home. Vanessa arrived at 6:15. "Hey, babe," she called out. "How was your day?" "Fine," I said. "Boring?" "Cleaned out your old phone like you asked." She came into the kitchen, kissed me. "Oh, good. Thanks. Did you factory reset it?" "Not yet. I'll do it tonight." I watched her move around the kitchen, making dinner, humming to herself, completely at ease. How could someone do this? How could someone plan a murder, execute it, then marry the victim's husband and live with him for over a year like nothing happened? We ate dinner, talked about our days. She told me about a difficult client. I told her about a project deadline. Normal married couple conversation. After dinner, she went upstairs to take a bath. I sat on the couch staring at the TV without seeing it. My phone buzzed. Text from Colin. "Haven't seen you in a while, man. Want to grab a beer this week?" I stared at the message. 22 years of friendship. He'd been at my wedding to Natalie. I'd been at his father's funeral. We'd taken road trips together, helped each other move, loaned each other money. And the entire time I'd known Vanessa, he'd been lying to my face, pretending to support our relationship while knowing exactly what she'd done, what they'd done together. I typed back, "Sure. Thursday work?" His response came immediately. "Perfect. 7 at the usual place." I set my phone down. Thursday was 2 days away. By then, I'd know more. Wednesday morning, I got a call from a blocked number. I answered. "Mr. Garrison, this is Detective Sarah Moss with Minneapolis Police Department. Your attorney James Chen contacted our department regarding a potential case. Are you available to meet today?" "Yes. This afternoon? 2 o'clock at the station. I'll be there." I called work and took the day off. Spent the morning going through everything again, making sure I hadn't missed anything. At 2, I was sitting in an interview room at the police station. Detective Moss was in her 40s, sharp eyes, no nonsense. With her was Detective Brian Torres, younger, quieter, taking notes. I walked them through everything. Natalie's diagnosis and death, my relationship with Colin, meeting Vanessa through Colin, finding the messages, the medication change, the insurance policy. I showed them the screenshots. They asked questions, lots of questions, about my relationship with Vanessa, about Colin's behavior, about Dr. Westbrook. Had I ever suspected? Number? Never. Detective Moss leaned forward. "Mr. Garrison, what you're describing is a conspiracy to commit murder. That's an extraordinarily serious accusation. We'll need hard evidence, medical records, financial records. We'll need to prove that Dr. Westbrook's medication change was intentional and harmful, that it deviated from standard care, that there was coordination between all 3 parties." "I understand. We'll need to interview Dr. Westbrook. But if he's guilty, that tips him off, unless we have leverage." Detective Torres spoke up. "The text messages mention him by name. If we can prove that Colin Brandt and Vanessa Garrison were in contact with Westbrook during the time frame in question, that's conspiracy." "Can you get phone records?" I asked. "With a warrant, yes." Detective Moss made a note. "Mr. Garrison, I need to ask you something difficult. Do you believe your current wife would try to harm you?" I thought about it. Honestly, I don't know. But I haven't touched the insurance money. It's all still there. If she thinks she can access it without me, she might not see me as a threat. But if she realizes I know, she might panic. Exactly. Detective Moss exchanged a look with Torres. "We're going to move on this quickly. Within the next 48 hours, we'll need you to act normally. Don't confront anyone. Don't change your behavior. Can you do that?" "Yes. One more thing. You said you're meeting Colin Brandt tomorrow night?" "Yes. At 7. Would you be willing to wear a wire?" My heart started pounding. "You want me to get him to confess?" "We want you to have a conversation. Ask questions. See what he says. If he admits to anything, that gives us probable cause for warrants. Phone records, financial records, medical records, everything we need." "What do I say?" Detective Moss slid a piece of paper across the table. "We'll prep you tomorrow afternoon. But the key is to sound natural. You're his best friend. You suspect something, but you're not sure. You want him to tell you the truth." I looked at the paper. It was a list of questions, prompts, ways to guide the conversation without being obvious. "I can do this." "Good. We'll wire you up at 6 tomorrow. You'll meet him at 7. We'll be nearby listening. If at any point you feel unsafe, say the phrase, 'I need some air,' and we'll move in immediately." I left the station and went home. Vanessa was making dinner again. Pasta. She smiled when I came in. "You're home late? Long day?" "Yeah. Project issues." She kissed me. Tomorrow she'd find out that her husband had been working with the police to build a case against her. Thursday came. I went through the motions at work. Came home. Vanessa was getting ready to go out. "Girls' night," she said. "I'll be back late. Don't wait up." Perfect timing. Have fun. She left at 5:30. At 6, I drove to an unmarked van 3 blocks from the bar where I was meeting Colin. Detective Moss and Detective Torres were inside with 2 technicians. They fitted me with a wire. Small microphone clipped inside my shirt. Transmitter in my jacket pocket. "You'll be fine," Detective Moss said. "Just have a conversation. Let him talk." People who've gotten away with something often want to talk about it, especially to someone they trust. What if he doesn't say anything? Then we go to Plan B. Warrants take longer, but we'll get them. I drove to McGinty's pub. Colin was already there, sitting in our usual booth, 2 beers on the table. He stood up and hugged me. "Good to see you, man. It's been too long." I forced a smile. "Yeah, been busy." We sat, made small talk for a few minutes. Work, weather, football. Then I took a breath. "Colin, can I ask you something?" "Of course. What's up?" "How did you and Vanessa really meet?" He blinked. "What do you mean?" "You said she was your sister's friend, but I've met your sister's friends. Vanessa was never at any of the gatherings. So how did you actually meet her?" Colin took a sip of beer. "Buying time." "Why are you asking?" "Because I found something on her old phone. Messages. Between the 2 of you. From 2021. His face went very still. "Fletcher," I kept my voice calm. "You were seeing her while Natalie was dying." Colin's jaw tightened. It wasn't like that. Then what was it like? He looked around the bar. Looked back at me. "You were a mess, Fletcher. You were falling apart. Natalie was dying and you couldn't handle it. I needed someone to talk to." Vanessa understood. "So you started sleeping with her? While my wife was dying in our house?" "It just happened, man. I didn't plan it. But the messages mention insurance money." "Colin, they mentioned Dr. Westbrook. They mentioned medication changes." His face had gone pale. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Yes, you do. Did you kill my wife? Did you and Vanessa and Dr. Westbrook kill Natalie for $850,000? People at nearby tables were starting to look over. Colin stood up abruptly. "I'm not doing this. Sit down. I'm leaving. You wanted her dead so you could take the money and be with Vanessa. You convinced Westbrook to overdose her on fentanyl. Made it look natural." Colin grabbed his jacket. "You're insane. Then explain the messages, Colin. Explain why Vanessa texted you, 'It's done,' 2 weeks before Natalie died. Explain why she asked about the insurance." His face crumbled. Just for a second. Then he turned and walked toward the door. I followed him. "Colin." He stopped. Turned around. His eyes were wet. "She was already dying, Fletcher. We didn't kill her. We helped her along. She was in pain. You saw her. She was suffering. So you murdered her. For money." He shook his head. "It wasn't like that." "Then what was it like? Tell me. Because right now I'm trying to understand how my best friend of 22 years could do this to me." Colin's voice broke. "I loved her too, okay? I loved Natalie. And watching her suffer every day, knowing there was no hope, it was killing me too. So when Vanessa suggested, when Dr. Westbrook said there was a way to end her suffering faster, I thought we were doing the right thing. And the $850,000 was just a bonus." He didn't answer. That's what I thought. I turned and walked away. Outside, Detective Moss and 2 uniformed officers were waiting. Colin came out a moment later and froze when he saw them. "Colin Brandt," Detective Moss said. "You're under arrest for conspiracy to commit murder." They cuffed him, read him his rights. Colin looked at me the entire time, his face a mixture of betrayal and disbelief. "Fletcher." I turned away, got in my car, drove home. Vanessa's car was in the driveway. I'd called Detective Torres on the way. They were 5 minutes behind me. I went inside. Vanessa was on the couch watching TV. "Hey, babe, I thought you'd be out later. Change of plans." She smiled. "Want to watch something?" "Sure. In a minute. I need to talk to you about something first." She muted the TV, turned to me. "What's up?" I sat down across from her, not next to her. "I know about Colin." Her face went blank. "What?" "I know about the messages. About Dr. Westbrook. About what you did to Natalie." Vanessa stood up slowly. "Fletcher, I don't know what you're talking about. The police arrested Colin an hour ago. He confessed." She went white. "You're lying. They're on their way here now. To arrest you too." She looked toward the door, looked back at me. Her expression hardened into something cold. "You weren't supposed to find out. That's all you have to say. What did you expect, Fletcher? You were a mess. You were useless. Someone had to make decisions. Natalie was dying anyway. We didn't do anything that wasn't going to happen eventually. You murdered my wife. Our wife, technically. I was going to marry you eventually anyway. We just sped up the timeline. The doorbell rang. Vanessa's eyes widened. Police! Open up! She bolted toward the back door. Didn't make it. 2 officers came through the front. 2 more through the back. They grabbed her. Vanessa Garrison, you're under arrest for conspiracy to commit murder. She screamed, thrashed, looked at me with pure hatred. This is your fault. You were supposed to grieve and move on. You were supposed to be happy. They dragged her out. I sat on the couch in the empty house and cried, not because I still loved her, but because everything I'd thought was real over the past 2 years had been a lie. The investigation took 4 months. Dr. Ian Westbrook was arrested 2 days after Colin and Vanessa. Phone records showed hundreds of calls and texts between all 3 of them during Natalie's illness. Financial records showed that Vanessa had opened a joint account with Colin in December 2021, 2 months before Natalie died. They'd been planning to access the insurance money together. Split it 3 ways with Dr. Westbrook. Dr. Westbrook had prescribed the excessive fentanyl dose, knowing it would cause respiratory failure, had documented it as appropriate palliative care. But the medical board found that the dosage was far beyond standard protocols for someone of Natalie's weight and condition. In March 2025, all 3 went to trial. Colin pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit murder and got 15 years. Dr. Westbrook pleaded not guilty but was convicted, 25 years. His medical license was revoked. Vanessa went to trial claiming she'd been manipulated by Colin, that she didn't know Dr. Westbrook was going to actually harm Natalie. The jury didn't believe her. They'd seen the text messages. How much longer? The insurance is $850,000. She got 20 years. At her sentencing, she looked at me from across the courtroom. I'm sorry, she said. I actually believed you would be happy, that we'd have a good life together. I didn't respond. There was nothing to say. After the trials ended, I sold the house. Too many memories. Too much pain. I bought a small condo downtown. Started seeing a therapist. Tried to rebuild my life for the second time. The $850,000 from Natalie's life insurance, I donated it, every penny, to cancer research at Abbott Northwestern Hospital, the same hospital where Dr. Westbrook had worked, where Natalie had been treated. I established a fund in her name, the Natalie Garrison Cancer Research Fund. It felt like the right thing to do. The only thing to do. That money was soaked in betrayal and murder. I couldn't keep it. One afternoon in June 2025, I was at a coffee shop downtown when someone called my name. Fletcher? I turned around. It was Dr. Sarah Chen. She'd been one of Natalie's nurses during her hospice care. I remember you, I said. Of course. How are you? I heard about what happened. About Colin and Vanessa. I'm managing. Dr. Chen sat down across from me. Natalie talked about you all the time, she said. Even at the end. She loved you so much. She was so proud of you. I felt tears coming. Thank you. She paused. There's something I've been wanting to tell you. When Natalie knew she was dying, she asked me to write something down for her. She was too weak to write it herself. She made me promise I'd give it to you, but only after enough time had passed. I wasn't sure when the right time was, but maybe it's now. Dr. Chen handed me an envelope. Natalie's handwriting was on the front. To Fletcher, when you're ready. My hands shook as I opened it. Inside was a single page, handwritten by Dr. Chen, but Natalie's words. Fletcher, if you're reading this, I'm gone, and enough time has passed that you're starting to move forward. That's what I want for you. I want you to live, to love again, to build a new life. Don't carry guilt. Don't carry grief forever. I had 18 beautiful years with you. That was more than some people get in a lifetime. You made me happy every single day, even at the end, and especially at the end. Whatever happens after I'm gone, know that I loved you. Know that you were enough. You were always enough. Find joy again. Find love again. That's not betraying me. That's honoring me. Live the life I can't. Be happy. That's all I ever wanted for you. All my love. Always, Natalie. I read it 3 times. Then I folded it carefully and put it back in the envelope. Thank you, I said to Dr. Chen, for keeping it safe. She smiled gently. Natalie was special. We all knew it. I hope you find your way forward, Fletcher. I'm working on it. She squeezed my hand and left. I sat there for a long time, holding the envelope, thinking about Natalie, about what she'd wanted for me. Not what Colin and Vanessa had done in her name, but what she actually wanted. Happiness, life, love. 2 years later, I'm still working on it. I haven't dated anyone. Haven't been ready. Maybe someday. The condo is small, but it's mine. I go to work, see friends, visit Natalie's grave every month. I've learned that healing isn't linear. Some days are better than others. Some days I'm angry. Angry at Colin for betraying 22 years of friendship. Angry at Vanessa for lying to my face every single day for over a year. Angry at Dr. Westbrook for violating every oath he ever took. But mostly I'm sad. Sad that Natalie's last months were poisoned by people plotting her death. Sad that I didn't see it. Sad that I married someone who'd helped murder my wife. But I'm still here, still moving forward, still trying to honor Natalie's memory by living, by building something, by not letting what they did destroy me. Some things you can't get, some betrayals cut too deep to ever fully heal. But you keep going anyway. You build a new life from the pieces of the old one. You find meaning where you can. You remember the people who loved you truly. And you let that be enough. That's what Natalie wanted, so that's what I'm doing. One day at a time, one step at a time, moving forward. Living, that's the only revenge that matters. Living well, living fully, despite everything.